Bottom leg's hooking on his bottom leg, alright? One thing I'm trying to do, whether I'm playing conventional knee shield or I'm playing butterfly, like half butterfly and stuff, is monitor this space here. Because what I don't want him to do is bring his knee in the pocket of my hip. Okay? Once he brings his knee in the pocket of the hip, he can step this way and flatten me out and start passing. So if at any point I feel that happening, I'm blocking here, or if he gets here, I can start bringing it in. I can knee elbow escape like this. Okay? So I'm always monitoring it with my elbow. My other leg is going to come from this position because here I've got good control of this leg, right? But I don't have inside position with my legs. It's going to be hard to start attacking his legs from here. Okay? So what I like to do is I get these frames in place. Okay, one cross shoulder, one on the bicep. I can straighten my leg and then I lead with my foot between his legs here. Okay, I'm always keeping my knee on the outside. I never want my knee on his chest because now he can start smashing it. Right? So I'm always having it here. Okay, if I can't get it behind his armpit, then I'll put it here in front of this shoulder. Okay, both of them are good. We're going to look at attacks from both positions. But the important thing is when I'm transitioning, I don't just have no frames, because now if I let go of this knee shield, he's just going to immediately connect chest to chest. So I keep these frames and I switch to this position. Alright, first attack, we've done it loads of times. Silence! Right, from here, what I'm going to do is switch from this position to a far lat grip like this, okay? And then I'm going to start looking to underhook this leg. The reason I go here first is because when I underhook this leg, if I don't have this, you can just cross face me straight away. Okay, and that's going to be really hard to do anything. So when I come here, and then I go for the underhook on the leg, if he tries to cross face me, I can bring my head to my hand and we're good. Alright, like I divert it. From here, I'm going to bring my knee to the other side of his ribs. So from that side to this side, then I can connect my hands and start pulling his leg in. Okay? Once I've got his leg in, I'm going to keep it on my shoulder and I'm going to turn to my other hip. And then from here I can start building up. I'm going to block his knee with my bottom leg and then I can start standing up and pulling his other leg towards me. Okay? So again. So I'm here, I switch to half butterfly and then I'm coming behind here. This can also help me pull him in a little bit so I can get an underhook on this leg. From here, I don't want to just pull it in because he can still put pressure on me from here. But if I bring this knee from this side to this side, now he tries to put pressure on me, I can just push him away. Pushing him away with my knee, pulling him in with my hands. And then from here, I bring his leg onto my shoulder and I come onto my opposite hip. Alright, from here I can start building up. I block his knee. The reason I block his knee is because if I start getting up and he just starts running towards me, he's going to just flatten me out again. Alright? So when I'm here, if he tries to do that, I can push him away as I sit up. And then I can start coming up and pulling his far away from me. Okay? So again. And here. Alright guys, so you need all of those elements for this to work. So just really quick. If I reach to the leg before I come here, he's going to cross face me. Okay? If, what was the other one? If I get all of these, but I don't bring my knee to the other side, he's going to just put weight with his chest and squash me again. I might be able to get underneath him from here, but it's going to be really hard. Okay, so you need to do all of them. You need to get this grip first, then reach for the leg, then bring the knee across, and then you can switch to this side. Okay guys, let's go on to leg. But it requires for him to kind of be pressuring into me a little bit sometimes. If people are really wary of their legs being attacked, they're going to keep their hips back like this and they're going to keep their head a bit lower. Okay, and then this is where I'm going to go for different attacks. My three main attacks from this position is arm dragging on this arm, because I can immediately start attacking his back and I've already got a hook in. The other one is putting my knee in this kind of position and starting to snap him down into front headlock where I can finish or start sweeping him with my butterfly hook. And then the other one I like to do is looking to attack this far arm with Choi bars and stuff. Okay. So those are kind of the three things I'm thinking about when someone's keeping their hips back a little bit more. And they're all really good. So we'll start with the sort of more complicated one. I'm going to be looking to get control of this arm. Okay. Now I don't like starting with my knee on the outside for this one, because if I connect my arms together, he can connect his chest to my chest, and I'm going to have nothing to keep him away at this point. I mean, you can keep your elbow underneath the chin, but now it's going to be really hard for me to get my leg out. So I like to start in a position where I've got my knee on his shoulder, and then I'll start looking this arm. Okay, so you can just connect your arms, your hands like this. Okay, I'd always recommend going wrist to wrist. One thing you can do to make this grip stronger is push on his forearm and then reach for this underhook at the same time. And you can see as I'm reaching for it, I'm already bringing my knee to this side of his head. Okay. From here, I'm going to go wrist to wrist. So I'm just going to go wrist to wrist and grab my forearms, and I'm pulling his shoulder in at the same time as pushing his head away. All right. So now I need to get my foot out and through this gap. And the way I do that is I want some of my knee showing. So like if my knee is really low, it's going to be really hard to do this. So I need to pull his shoulder in and lift my knee up. From this position, I'm going to point my knee towards his back like this. Okay, now I can straighten my leg and bring his head close to the ground, and I can bring my upper body away and throw my foot over the top and hook here. Okay. From here, all I'm trying to do, I've kept my arms in the same position. I'm going to just reach to his thumb, okay, and then I'm going to start pulling his thumb just with one arm over this inside hip. Okay, to assist this, I'm now going to go for a pushing grip with my other hand. I can bring my knee down, I'm finishing the armbar over the inside hip. Okay, so what you've noticed is my right foot stayed in the same position the whole time, and I'm on my right hip the whole time. I never go flat on my back. Okay, the biggest mistake I see is people going flat on their back. Stay on your right hip the whole time, and this leg isn't moving. It's just my left leg and my hands, that's it. Okay, so I'm here. Okay, from here I want to reach to this underhook, but I want to make it stronger so I can push this hand away. Like if you want to push it all the way away, that's fine. I just push it away a little bit, and it gives me a bit more strength in this grip. I will generally be moving my knee across as I'm doing this. If we can't do this, I'll show you what you can do. Then I go wrist to wrist. I pull his shoulder into my chest as I push him away a little bit with my knee, and then from here I'm pointing my knee towards his back like this. So then I can straighten my leg over his head. I bring my upper body away slightly, and I come through this gap and hook behind his hamstring, reach to his thumb. I'll start pulling it across my inside hip, this hip, and then I can push with the other arm. Okay? And now if my knee is flared, it's going to take longer for me to finish it. So I bring my knee towards the ground. And then from here, I can just put a little bit of hip pressure and get a really strong finish. Okay, so again, starting with my knee in front of this hip. Okay, still with the same frames. I'm underhooking with this bottom arm, pushing his arm away with my other arm. And see, I've already brought my knee across. From here, my knee comes high, my hands connect, I'm pulling his arm into his shoulder into my chest, and then from here I point my knee towards his back and I straighten my leg, and then from here I throw my leg over the top and hook in front of his hamstring. I grab the thumb, I pull it across, reinforce it with this grip, and then I can bring my knee down as I'm pulling with my hands.
So you're actually hipping in there, aren't you?
A little bit. You don't need to, but like if you want to break it, then yeah. So I'm here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then immediately grabbing the thumb. I need to make sure his thumb's pointing in the opposite direction to where I'm pulling it. So wherever I'm pulling his arm, even if I was pulling it into my chest, which I wouldn't recommend, his thumb's pointing the opposite way. So I'm pulling it this way, thumb comes this way, boom, and then from here I'm finishing. Yeah.
So when
hear you breathing because
yeah.
you talk.
So when you're doing the underhook and you're kind of pushing against the forearm, is that like flaring the elbow and making it more difficult for them to?
Yeah. So what you want to think
away?
about is like, so bend your arm up, getting this kind of thing.
Kind of takes all of
Yeah, that's kind of what you're aiming for. I'm not gonna spend too much time trying to get that.
Yeah.
But it gives me more of, like, the straighter his arm is, the less pull ability I have. The more his arm this way, now I can really pull him in. So that's ideally what I would want to get to this. Alright, any questions guys? No? Let's go. go, 1, 2. You can do this from any position really. Like I can do it, well not any position, but I'm saying like when you're in half guard, you can do it from here. I can do it when I've got a full butterfly hook in, or I can do it when I've got my, if he's like pressing in, I can do it from here as well, okay? The only thing is, once I start going for the arm drag, wherever my foot is, this foot, I have to take it out, okay? So just bear that in mind. So this place is generally the most convenient one. A lot of times what people do is start pushing on your hip, right? What they're kind of trying to do, one is keep their arm safe, and the other thing is maybe flatten you out by pushing on your hip. And from here, what I do is I lead with my thumb, and I control here at his wrist. From here, I can push it off to my bottom hip and immediately start reaching. Now, when I'm going for arm drags, I don't want his arm straight. The straighter his arm is, the easier it is for him to pull away. Like if I just have this grip, pull away man, he's just going to immediately slip out. But again, like we did before, if I push this arm in, okay, so if I ask Mo to keep his arm like bent like this and pull away from me, he's just going to pull me up with it. Yeah, I've got a much stronger grip here. So I push this arm across, I reach for his armpit, and then I push his arm in. Okay, that's what gives me a strong arm drag. When I'm reaching with this hand, I'm trying to come as high up into his armpit and then as deep as I can with my wrist. So I'm like wrapping my fingers as deep as I can get them. And then when I push this in, now I've got a strong arm drag grip. From here, I'll take my left foot out, I can swing it to help me sit myself up, and I'll grab his far hip. Okay. Now there's loads of different ways we can go about taking the back from here, but a very simple one is I just cup his hip like this, I keep my head glued to his back, I put my foot on the floor, I scoot away, and I put him into my lap, and then I immediately connect to my arms, okay? And then from here, I'm gonna be, sorry guys, got cramp. Okay, and then from here, I'll be crossing my feet behind his top hip. I don't want to throw a hook in because now I have basically no control over him because hooks are shit. But if I can't get a body triangle and I'm on the overhook side, I always go for this. Yeah, and I've always got my knee over his top hip. I never want my knee down here because now I can start building height with his hips and getting out. But if I bring my knee over his hip, then cross my feet, if he tries to do that, especially if I'm controlling his foot, it's very hard for him to turn that way. And if he tries to turn his back towards the floor, it's not going to happen because of this bottom hip. All right. So again, so I'm here. Let's say he's framing on my hip. I push his arm across, just basically pushing his hand to my other hip, and then I reach immediately. Once I'm here, I push that arm in. Okay. From here, I can swing this leg. I let go of this hand, and I reach to his far hip. Glue my head to here, control his hip, post, move away, and pull him in, and immediately come here. So for me, the best way I have found controlling the back is the seatbelt grip like this. Some people do this, I'm not a big fan of this. The reason I like this is because for some reason I just feel like I can get a better squeeze, and also this hand is open to immediately grab this, whereas like from here I have to like turn my hand. I know that's a small thing, but like when you're on the back, it's important to like save your energy. So I always grab like this, and then I can immediately start attacking like this. Okay, one more time. So let's say if I'm here, I'll just do it from this position now. Okay guys, so pretty simple, but just like a little few details in there. Any questions? No? Chloe?
It's very nice.
Oh, thanks. It's not a question. Yeah. Alright guys, 1, 2. So, this one, I have to have my knee on this shoulder. Yeah, it's a very similar process to when we're going for this. Alright? So what I'm going to do from here is I'm going to control behind his head. I'll sometimes control his chin from this position too, so I can pull him in. But basically what I'm going to do is, especially if he's like driving into me a bit, from here what I'm going to do is I'm going to push his head down and I bring my knee here. Okay, so that makes him collapse, and it also gives me the ability to take this foot out. From here I'll sit up so I can get my shoulder connected to here, and I'm either going to go arm out like this, or I'll come arm in. I generally go arm in because from here, once I sit back, I can sweep him and attack, like transition to different chokes. So I'll sit back. I can either throw my leg over the back and start attacking the arm in. This is quite hard if you haven't done it before, but like a lot of it is to do with pushing his neck underneath him, like the grip you take and stuff. But that's challenging. So generally what will happen is you can try and go for this. If it doesn't work, I lead with this hook here. So we go back to butterfly half guard. And then from here I'm going to bend his neck underneath him, and then I can sweep him. Okay? So I can chase him out here, or I can start transitioning straight off into anacondas and stuff. Okay? I'm not going to go into loads of detail, but I just want you guys to get the snap down and then the sweep. So I start from this position, okay, and I'm here. I don't like having my elbow on the outside of my knee, because now he can smash my knee with his hips, right? But if I'm here with his shoulder, sorry. But if I'm here, if he tries to bring my knee in, my elbow is like framing in front of it, okay? From here I'll pull him in, and at the same time I point this knee towards the ground. Okay? And then from here I can sit up, and I'll generally, the reason I'm sitting up is just so I can get my shoulder connected to this part of him, okay? And then I'm connecting my hands. The way I'm connecting my hands is I'm grabbing his chin, and then I'm just grabbing the meaty part of my hand, okay? So I'm here, and then I can sit back. If I want to try and go for the finish, I can, but generally what I'll be doing is throwing this hook in, so from here to here. I don't want to just try and sweep him from here. First, I want to use my elbow, bringing my elbow towards my knee, and that already makes him want to roll over, and then I'm sweeping him over that far shoulder. Okay? I can chase top position, or I can come straight into this kind of position. Okay, so one more time. It's exactly like the same as when we had this and I turned my knee in and I straightened it. We're doing exactly the same thing, but just with the guillotine grip. Okay. 1, 2. Okay guys? So we've got a little bit of time, we'll just go over that for like 5-10 minutes. Alright, 1, 2.